Deputy Mayor, I have 1 o'clock.
Perfect. I'd like to welcome everybody to our August 19th City Council meeting. If we could please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We can have Councilwoman Karen Bugh lead us in prayer.
Loving Heavenly Father, we come to you this hour asking for your blessing and help as we virtually gather together. We pray for guidance in the matters at hand and ask that you would clearly show us how to conduct our work with a spirit of joy and enthusiasm. Give us the desire to find ways to excel in our work. Help us to work together and encourage each other to excellence. We ask that you help our community to remain Briggs strong after the recent tragic event that has touched so many families. We ask this in your name. Amen.
Amen. And if everybody could remain standing for a moment of silence. Brigantine has lost a couple of great individuals over the last few weeks, and I'd like to have a moment of silence for Robert Suey Sr., who is the father of retired firefighter Bob Suey and the grandfather of firefighter Steve Suey, and for Army Lieutenant Ryan Rehill, who is the son of Police Chief Tom Rehill. Both of these individuals have had a tremendous impact on our community. I would say the true measure of any individual is the legacy they leave behind and the lives they touch. And both of these individuals and both of these families have had a tremendous impact on all of the lives of Brigantine. One of the things I want to say, one of the things I really respect about Ryan is his dedication and service to our country and to our community. Nowadays, you don't find too many young people who want to dedicate their lives to the service of our community. And it's something that we should really commend and something that we should really respect from this individual who was taken away from us far too quickly and far too soon. We ask for this moment of silence, please. Thank you. Sorry. That's one thing I'd like to say to people. I was going to save it for the end of the meeting, but I think now's an appropriate time. No matter what this year, no matter what 2020 has thrown our way, it has been the people of this community who have really stepped up and pulled us back together, who have put Brigantine in a good spot. You know, sometimes people from other communities ask us about, what's going on and how we get things done. And to be honest, the best answer I can give them is good people. No matter what, everyone comes together to help each other. And we have something truly unique and truly special here. So I just wanted to mention that because it's something that's really humbling and moving about the kindness in our community. Lynn, can you read the Open Public Meetings Act announcement?
This is to advise the meeting notices covering this meeting have been sent and posted as required under the Open Public Meetings Act.
Thank you, Lynn. Can we have the approval of the August 5th council meeting minutes? Can we have a motion and second?
Make that motion.
Second.
Thank you. Is there any questions? All right, seeing none, can we have roll call?
You?
Yes.
Jerry?
Yes.
Heaney?
Yes.
DeLucre?
Yes.
Reardon?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Sarah?
Yes.
Motion carried.
We need approval of our payroll requisition list and operating expenses. Is there a motion and second?
So moved.
Second.
Any questions or concerns? Seeing none, can we have roll call?
You?
Yes.
Terry?
Yes.
Haney,
Yes.
Lucre,
Yes.
Bearden,
Mike, you're muted.
Yes. Yes.
Deputy Mayor Sarah.
Yes.
Motion carried.
All right, next up, we have our discussion on our 2019 municipal audit. I guess at this point, I'll turn it over to Leon Costello.
Thanks. First of all, the audit process, believe it or not, went fairly smooth given all the nonsense we have going on. And the year 19 was very successful. I don't know how many of you have the audit in front of you, but I'll go over a few things quickly. Okay. If you go to the first question usually asked is if you go to page 117, you'll see there's no formal recommendations. There's nothing that we have to report to the state that you're in violation of or that you've done wrong. So that's obviously a great thing. From the financial end of it, if you go to page 5, you'll see that your fund balance increased about 3/4 of the way down the page from 6,000,002 to 6,550,000. Again, to prove that you had a very successful year. All your reserves are all up. There's nothing funny in your 2020 budget that would cause any problems going forward. The next page to look at would be page 23, the utility, water and sewer utility. Again, this is about 1/3 the way down. Fund balance increased from 2.7 million to 3 million. We funded all of your outstanding debt last year with no change to your debt payments overall. And everything is on sound footing, even with all the junk that's going on this year. It's nowhere near as bad. Now, I've surveyed just about every town so far after the August collections, and things are going actually pretty smoothly. So we'll see what finishes the year up with the November payments, but right now it appears that almost everything's on track to be at least stable. Maybe some losses in some revenues, but nothing major. There were a couple minor things in the management letter that really are just little housekeeping things, but nothing to be alarmed about. Obviously, we get great cooperation from the whole staff. It's always a pleasure working with you guys, and you are very sound financially and moving forward in the right direction. If there's any questions, I'll be more than happy to answer them. This isn't due to the state until September 30th. It was an extension, so you're well within the time period.
That's perfect, Leon. And, Leon, I'd like to thank you and thank Roxanne and our entire financial team. I know you guys work very, very hard all year long at this budget. And, we appreciate your dedication because you've really helped to put Brigantine on sound financial footing. I know for the rest of council and the rest of the community, now that we're, sorry, my computer is doing something weird. Now that we're moving through this budget, we're already starting to begin on next year's budget.
Absolutely, yeah.
In there. So, there's a lot of work that goes behind this. So I'm really grateful to our financial team.
Yeah, and you got a great team there on the financial end of it for sure.
Yeah. Thank you.
Same here, Leon and Roxanne. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And I would say too, if anybody has any questions, I know that Leon and Roxanne will make themselves available. They're very good at being responsive.
Anytime. Yeah.
If it's something now, they will be available. And Leon, I'd like to thank you for your time today. And if there's no further questions or comments from council, we'll keep moving on our agenda.
Thanks, guys.
All right, thank you, Leon.
Thanks, Leon.
All right, so we have our public comments on agenda items only. So we have 2 opens to the public. The first one is for anything on the agenda. The second one is for anything that people would like to speak about. So at this time, if you would like to speak on any of the agenda items, just signal to our city manager and he will recognize you.
I'm not seeing anybody trying to get our attention, Deputy Mayor.
All right, perfect. Then at this time, we're going to close our public portion. Next up, we have an introduction. So we have ordinance number 9 of 2020. And this is an introduction, and this is an ordinance to amend Chapter 147, which is the curfew of the city code of the city of Brigantine. Whereas the Brigantine Municipal Code provides curfew requirements for juveniles in Chapter 147, and the City Council of Brigantine wishes to amend certain provisions of Chapter 147. Now, therefore, be it ordained by the City Council of Brigantine in the County of Atlantic in New Jersey that Chapter 147, specifically 147-2 curfew is established, is hereby amended as follows. It shall be unlawful for a juvenile to be on any public street or in public places between the hours of 10 p.m. and 6 a.m. unless accompanied by said juvenile's parent or guardian, or unless engaged in or traveling to or from a business or occupation which the laws of this state authorize a juvenile to perform. Juveniles shall be permitted on public beaches and public recreation facilities from sunup to 1 hour past sundown. Juveniles on public beaches and public recreational areas and all other times unless accompanied by said juvenile's parent or guardian is specifically prohibited. This Chapter 147 shall remain in full force and effect to the extent not modified here, and this ordinance shall take effect upon proper passage in accordance with the laws. Can we have a motion and second?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
The kind of origin of this is we've had some requests from some of the families on the island. There's been some issues with some, I guess, young people not making good decisions late at night, either causing some trouble out on the beaches or causing some trouble out in the community. So I know there was a recommendation that we move the curfew from 11 p.m. to 10 p.m. to try to address some of those issues that are out there. This is a first reading. It will come back to council again, I believe, in 2 weeks, but I will open it up to any questions or comments from council. All right, seeing none, can we have roll call?
View,
Yes.
Lettieri,
Yes.
Haney,
Yes.
DeLucre,
Yes.
Reardon,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Sarah.
Yes.
Motion carried.
We have ordinance number 10 of 220. And again, this is an introduction amending the salary ordinance. And this is an ordinance amending Chapter 61, Salary and Compensations of the Code of the City of Brigantine pursuant to NJSA 40A 9-165, establishing the salaries and wages of certain officers and employees of the City of Brigantine, County of Atlantic, State of New Jersey. And we have a motion and second.
So moved. Second.
To give people some background on this, we're not making any changes to the salary ordinance. What's happening here is, I guess, for the state of New Jersey with their pension system and how they run this, they're requiring all municipalities to do updated ordinances every single year so they have the documentation they need to process, I guess, pensioning paperwork. So again, there are no changes to this ordinance at this time other than we're complying with state directives. Open it up if there's any questions or comments from council. Seeing none, can we have roll call?
View,
Yes.
Lettieri,
Yes.
Haney,
Yes.
Lucre,
Yes.
Reardon,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Sarah.
Yes.
Motion carried.
All right, so we have ordinance number 11 of 2020. This is an introduction, and this is an ordinance providing a one-way street designation for portions of 10th Street South. Can we have a motion and second?
I'll make that
So moved.
motion.
Second.
Any questions or comments from council? Seeing none, can we have roll call?
View,
Yes.
Lettieri,
Yes.
Haney,
Yes.
DeLucre,
Yes.
Reardon,
Before I vote, I just want to say, compliment Councilman Lettieri on the job he did. The residents reached out, and I know it's not an easy issue to get that all together. He did a great job, and I vote yes. Thanks.
Deputy Mayor Sarah,
Yeah, I'd really like to compliment Paul Lettieri on being on top of this. I know he's very responsive to the residents, and it's very much appreciated his work that he's doing out in the community. So I vote yes.
motion carried.
We have Resolution 220-143. This is adoption of the beach management plan. Whereas the City of Brigantine maintains and enforces a beach management plan for the protection of the federally and state licensed species, whereas such plans need to be periodically updated and adopted, whereas the City Council of Brigantine wishes to adopt the plan prepared and presented for January 2020. Now for be it resolved that the City of Brigantine adopts the beach management plan for the protection of the federal and state licensed species dated 2020, hereby adopted and approval. Can we have a motion and a second?
So moved.
Second.
And for us, as we go through this, just some background, our beach management plan has expired. We need to update this and make sure it's up to date in order to get our CAFR permits so that we can continue to maintain the beaches. So this, again, is just procedure to make sure that our Public Works Department can continue to do a great job out there on the beaches, keeping them clean and beautiful. Any questions or comments from council? Seeing none, can we have roll call?
View,
Yes.
Lettieri,
Yes.
Haney,
Yes.
DeLucre,
I guess I should have done this 30 seconds ago. I do have one comment, which is that I'm happy to see that we've gotten to the point where we do have a new plan about to be adopted. We've been without a plan for a while. It appears to me the new plan largely tracks the old one, and I think behind that is that we have an extremely good relationship with other levels of government that have actually greater control over the beach and regulate it. So it's good that we have a plan that's a cooperative plan, and it seems to be working. So yes.
Reardon,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Sarah,
Yes.
motion carried.
We have Resolution 220-144, and this is authorizing the award of contract for sodium hypochlorite solution. Whereas the city duly advertised for and accepted sealed bids on August 13th, 2020 for sodium hypochlorite solution for the city's pump stations. Whereas the term of the contract is for 12 months and the specifications provided that the city can exercise 2 one-year extensions. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the City of Brigantine to authorize the award of contract to Miracle Chemical Company based on their low bid. Can we have a motion and second?
So moved.
Second.
Any questions or comments from council?
Yeah, I'd just like to say that this road solution, I mean, there's different arguments you hear about it, regarding vehicles and sometimes maybe accelerated maintenance on the undercarriage of vehicles. And sometimes you hear some things about maybe also like accelerated repairs that might be needed to roadways. But I will just say from my own experiences, when I was a uniformed trooper on the road, that this solution, it works so much quicker than rock salt. And when you get black ice, you can get this solution down the road before that black ice gets a chance to form. It saves lives. There's no doubt about it. So it's a good thing to have. And it doesn't really have to even be on a highway. I mean, you can just have it just on our own, major thoroughfares and roadways through Brigantine. If we can prevent black ice and just any type of, freezing after any type of storm, whatever, it's a good thing. Thank you.
Deputy Mayor, can I ask John Doring to make a comment on the contract here, what we're purchasing, please?
Absolutely. Please.
Can you hear me?
We can. Yeah.
It's for a 3-year contract for the the hydrochloride. It is for our potable water, for our drinking water.
Okay, John. I thought it was I'm sorry. My mistake. I missed the pumping stations part of
Yeah.
it. Okay.
That's good. It's we've used Miracle Chemical for quite a few years. The seal bid did go up a little bit, but it's a good price.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
And just to be clear for people, it's a not to exceed amount of 70,000. So as we heard, it did go up a little bit, but it's a good price, and it's a company we've used for a while. So we're very satisfied with their performance. Any other questions? All right, seeing none, can we have roll call?
View,
Yes.
Lettieri,
Yes.
Haney,
Yes.
DeLucre,
I've been a fan of sodium hypochlorite in drinking water, so yes.
Reardon,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Sarah,
Yes.
motion carried.
We have Resolution 220-145, which is declaring an emergent condition exists and authorizing an award of contract for emergency repairs to the city dock. So I'll ask for a motion and second.
So moved.
Second.
Just to give people some background on this, right now with the bulkhead, bulkheads, I guess getting up there in years, and there's some leaks in the bulkhead that need to be replaced. We're going to be putting some sheathing in to seal up some of those holes to try to prevent the soil from draining back through the bulkhead. This is just a temporary fix until we figure out a long-term plan, but this temporary fix will hold and will be solid. But, as we start to look at our capital improvements and what we need to do for the city, this will be something that we're reviewing. All right, so I'll open up to council if there's any questions or comments. Seeing none, can we have roll call?
View,
Yes.
Lettieri,
Yes.
Haney,
Yes.
Yes.
DeLucre,
Yes.
Reardon,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Sarah,
Yes.
motion carried.
We have Resolution 220-146. This is authorizing the award of contract and design and construction management services for reconstruction of stormwater pump stations at 12th Street and East Evans Boulevard. Whereas the City Council of Brigantine authorized and accepted proposals for design and construction management services for reconstruction of the existing stormwater pump stations located at 12th Street and East Evans Boulevard. The city engineer has reviewed proposals in accordance with applicable law, regulations, and procedures for the above mentioned municipal contract. Whereas the city engineer recommends the award of the contract, now therefore be it resolved by the City of Brigantine that the contract for design and construction management services for reconstruction of the existing stormwater pump station located at 12th Street and East Evans Boulevard is awarded to de Blasio and Associates in the amount of $82,500. This resolution shall take effect immediately. Motion and second.
So moved.
Second.
Open up to council. Any questions or comments? Seeing none, can we have roll call?
View,
Yes.
Lettieri,
Yes.
Haney,
Yes.
DeLucre,
Yes.
Reardon,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Sarah,
Yes.
motion carried.
We have Resolution 220-146, authorizing award of contract and design. Sorry, wrong one. I got mixed up here. Thank you. Resolution 220-147. This is apparatus maintenance and repair for the fire department. Whereas the fire department has a need for service and repairs to their fire apparatus, whereas it is determined in the best interest of the City of Brigantine to acquire said services as needed. Whereas Dennis Kraus, QPA, City Purchasing agent has determined and certified in writing that the value of these services will exceed the $17,500 threshold, whereas Emergency Vehicle Services has supplied these services the past 20 years. Whereas Tiger Platt, Fire Department Chief, and Dennis Kraus, QPA, have reviewed the required maintenance schedules and recommendations and recommended that Emergency Vehicle Services of Mullica Hill, New Jersey be awarded an alternative, non-advertised method for service and repairs to the fire apparatus as determined by the needs of the city of Brigantine. Whereas Emergency Vehicle Services has completed and submitted a business registration certificate and business entity disclosure certification, which certifies that Emergency Vehicle Services has not made any contributions to political or candidate committees for an elected official in the city of Brigantine in the previous one-year period, and will be prohibited from making any contributions through the projected time of completion. Whereas the vendor has provided information demonstrating its compliance with the provisions of NJSA 1944A-20:5 regarding political contributions. Now therefore be it resolved by the city of Brigantine that an alternative method of awarding the contract with Emergency Vehicle Services for services repaired to fire apparatus. We have a motion and second.
So moved.
Second.
Any questions or comments? Seeing none, can we have roll call?
You,
Yes.
Lettieri,
Yes.
Haney,
Yes.
DeLucre,
Yes.
Sheridan,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Sarah.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Resolution 220-148 is for a yard sale refund. Can we have a motion and second?
So moved.
Second.
Any questions or comments from council? Seeing none, can we have roll call?
You,
Yes.
Lettieri,
Yes.
Haney,
Yes.
DeLucre,
Yes.
Reardon,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Sarah.
Yes.
Motion carried.
We have our council manager and committee discussion. I'll start with Jim Bennett. Do you have anything for us?
Real quick, Deputy Mayor, thank you. Just one fast announcement. I don't think I was able to get it out in time, but for those people that are in attendance right now, we now have the ability and are currently broadcasting our Zoom message over channel 97, and it's also available on our streaming site. So if you're having issues with Zoom or anything like that, just fire up channel 97. You'll still have to call in if you want to interact with council, but if you simply wish to watch it, it's on and it's available now. Thank you.
And Jim, I'm glad you were able to work that out. You know, one of the things we want to make sure is that the people of our community, both our primary and secondary homeowners, have as much access to what we're doing here as possible. So thank you for taking care of that. So let's go to our first ward council person, Karen Bew.
All right. I'm going to give a little farmers market update. I'd first like to start out by thanking Jeanette Kessler and her fabulous team of volunteers, her board of directors for the farmers market. They do a phenomenal job. I'd like to also thank all the setup crew and the breakdown crew, and including Rick DeLucre, who's out there every week taking down the tents and putting away the tables and chairs. It just would not work without all our volunteers. We had an amazing turnout last Saturday with 2,454 shoppers. Everyone is doing a great job wearing masks and social distancing. Vendors are having a fabulous season. The committee is also looking into having 2 extra markets, possibly one on October 17th would be a fall market. And on November 21st, they're looking at having a holiday market. Please stay tuned for more information following those. Our final regular market for the season will be Saturday, September 5th, Labor Day weekend. And we just want to thank all the shoppers, all the visitors, all the residents who come faithfully every week and show up and get all their great produce and pies and lunches and breakfasts. It's just amazing. Thank you very much. Also, the golf course is doing well, although it's been a bit soggy the last few weeks with all this rain that we've been having. The leagues are coming to an end in the next few weeks of competition after a shortened season due to COVID, but the amount of play, the rounds are way up. It's been a very good season at the links. Have a good rest of your week, everybody.
Thanks, Karen. That's great news, and very, very proud of all the work you and everyone on the Farmers Market Committee has done with the Farmers Market this year. Let's go to our second ward councilman, Paul Lettieri.
Yes, good afternoon. First, I'd like to thank our city attorney, Fred Cerny, for his immediate action on the request for the one-way traffic on 10th Street. I did submit to Manager Bennett a request from the folks on 11th Street for a similar ordinance. They too have been impacted by beach traffic and people making U-turns and folks not being able to pass going in two directions. So they're requesting that their 300 block of 11th Street South be converted to one-way also. They're asking for an eastbound, but if that becomes a problem with east and west, with 10th Street being also east, as long as it's a one-way in one direction, they'd be satisfied with that. Okay. Again, I have submitted this to Manager Bennett, and we'll see how this goes. And Fred, thank you again for your quick service.
You're welcome.
And if I could jump in a second too, I know Councilman Paul Lettieri has really touched on something that we maybe should think about long-term in the community. And I know I've already talked with our city manager, Jim Bennett, to think about it if we're going to do some more one-way streets, to have some uniformity to it and put together a long-term plan for that. I know in some of the other beach towns, they do have one-way traffic. I know a lot of it is alternating this way. It's just easier on individuals. So to make sure as we get more requests or needs, that we think about the overall plan of how we're going to implement that so that we don't have any traffic issues or problems that are created long-term with this kind of request.
Deputy Mayor, I think somewhere I may have the plan that we worked on some years ago from my previous career. I'll get it out and I'll sit with Matt and John, tune it up a little bit, and then present it to you folks.
That'd be great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Let's go to our third ward councilman, Dennis Haney.
Thank you, Vince. Well, number one, I got my back to blue shirt on. I just want to say, let's keep our all our officers and ladies and gentlemen who do such a fine job for us in our own town and all across our entire country. Let's stand behind them as best as possible with everything that we see that's going on. All you have to do is flick on the news anymore, and you just see stuff that's just unconscionable. So let's just stick with them. They truly are. They're the thin blue line for law and order. Second, I just wanted to give a shout out to Paul for his work on 10th Street. I didn't say anything as we were doing that first reading on that, but I used to live on 10th Street South, and that's a good move there, Paul. As our town, as the summer population has increased, it really just creates some quagmires in different areas, and you get cars trying to squeeze past each other, trying to hurry to get to the beach or whatever. So good job on your attention to that. Much appreciated. Next up, I did talk about our last meeting, the VMS signs that Chief Rich Calzamano said they just got the one going down by the Central Business District down in Paul's second ward. And we already had the ones that come over the bridge. You know, I've been passing through there like regularly, and they have helped. I think I just touched on that a little bit, at least on the one by the bridge. And now we have the one by the Central Business District. I think it's just good for everybody to get a little touch on the brakes and just exercise a little caution and have that heads up. It'll keep our town that much safer. So thank you, and particularly thanks for Chief Rich Casamento and everybody else involved, whether it be Public Works, taking care of that stuff. Thank you. Our schools, I think they got a real good plan going. I tip my cap to them as well. You know, the chance to get our children into school, as well as also having the option of the online learning. Not everybody's comfortable going back. I think there's plenty of data out there if they want to study. For the children, seem to be in pretty good shape as far as the data suggests that they really don't, the COVID is very tough for them to pick up. However, our teachers, it's a different story. So we got to keep everybody safe. So I thank you for everything and everything they have on their website as well. Next up, our restaurants. I hope we can, many states are moving forward. I hope with getting indoor dining going, I hope we can get something soon. I'm surprised we haven't heard more about that. At least I haven't heard anything lately, and I've just been checking online. We're going to need to, there's places that are going under across the country and locally. So hopefully we can get something going there. Our aquatic center, next on the list, they had a splash-a-thon where they were raising some, they were up until like June, I guess it was June 22nd or 26th. I can't remember the exact date when they were finally able to open up. I mean, things are really tough for Robin and Chuck Taylor over there. So a lot of people in the community stepped up. I haven't had a chance to talk to Robin yet. I know my family, you know, we put our support behind them as best we can, and we wish them success as very best possible moving forward. Another thing was I talked to Wolf Fitness, our former Brigantine Fitness Center, Tony Saxby. I think I'm pronouncing his last name correctly. I was able to talk to Tony, ask him how things were going, because getting our gyms going would be another good thing if we could move in that direction with the state. Right now, they just have the personalized training and things of that nature. Tony was trying to find out about this third wave of grants that was going on through the New Jersey Economic Development Authority. So I was able to actually speak to somebody, put Tony in touch with them, and he's waiting to hear back. Atlantic County, that was limited as to who was available to these funds. Just so happens that Atlantic County, and his application in particular was located. He has to wait yet to hear back to see what's happening, but just another one of our businesses, also in the third ward as well as the aquatic center. Wishing them the best. Finally, Vince, I want to thank you for that beautiful prayer when you opened everything up. I was just over at the Hills. I know you guys were there, and Brian was just a wonderful kid, wonderful young man, and we're all going to miss him, and God watch over the family. Thank you. That's all I got. Thank you.
Thank you, Dennis.
He was an inspiration. He was inspiration. One thing I'm sorry, just one other thing I did want to mention. Normally what I've been talking about, I mentioned VE Day and VJ Day. And I was going to, you know, I will bring that up later at our next meeting. I just want to touch on that. What I wanted to say was those veterans, the inspiration that they give everybody, and they've given our fellow servicemen. Ryan was a leader type individual, and he's just one of those persons who decided he was going to serve his country, and that's what he did. He had so much promise and future. I mean, it's our hearts are with everybody. He had leadership quality, and just gone too soon from us. God bless his heart and God bless his family. Thank you.
Go to our 4th Ward Councilman, Rick DeLucre.
Thanks, Vince. Briefly, thank you, Karen, for the shout out on the farmers market. Maybe not so much warranted for me, but absolutely for Jeanette and the rest of her crew. And you're right, they're killing it this season, which is great. Beyond that, I would just remind everybody, lots of summer left. Let's enjoy it by being smart, being safe, and being civil to one another. That's it.
Thank you, Rick. Let's go to our Councilman at Large, Mike Reardon.
Thanks, Vince. Um, As usual, before I begin, I want to thank everybody who's tuned in here today on the Zoom meeting. Especially I see some people out there been with us since we started the Zoom when they had their own concerns about issues that were going on in the city, and they're still calling in and tuning in with us. Jim Clark there. But and everybody who's tuning in on Channel 97, good job hooking that up, Jim. Of course, condolences and thoughts and prayers are with the Rehills at this time. And I think one of the beautiful things about our community is when things like this happen, it's the community comes together and really helps people get through tough times. So that's that. But on September 12th, in association with 9/11, there's been several requests for a, like Dennis was saying earlier, good job, Dennis, on that, back to blue, but also to support our heroes. And Councilman Lettieri, who's the Vice President of Legion Riders, have also requested to co-sponsor a march for support our heroes. So on September 12th at noon, there's going to be a Support Our Heroes march in appreciation of all our heroes, the police, fire, veterans, medical, teachers, clergy, you name it. It's gotten a good response so far. I believe there's going to be some speakers. We're going to have more information, but I just want to say that again. So I think it's a great idea myself. Especially we have a retired trooper on council, and Dennis, Councilman Haney. We have a veteran, Paul Lettieri, who's a vice president of the Legion Riders, and so many other people here whose family have been in the service and served and all helped out. So that's the main thing. That's basically all I have. Great job on the farmers market and John helping out and Rick breaking down, and that's it. Thanks.
Thanks, Mike. There's just so many good things that are always going on in our community. And, as we talked in the beginning of the meeting, the real strength of our community is the people that get involved. People step up to the plate, people work hard, and you see it across the board. And it's what makes Brigantine so special. Our True Spirit Coalition has been probably one of the strongest groups in our community who's there for all of our families in need. And on Friday, August 28th, from 4 to 8 p.m. at City Hall, the True Spirit Coalition is going to come together to provide back to school supplies for any of our families in need. So on Friday, the 28th, between 4 to 8, you can stop by City Hall, and if there's any supplies you need, the True Spirit Coalition will be here to help. Another person that we really should recognize for the strength of our community is Tom Park. Tom Park has been involved in so many different organizations and just across the board, and probably has helped thousands of families in Brigantine. He has literally dedicated 35 plus years of his life in the service of our community. Last Saturday, we had a lot of people who got together to honor Tom Park, and I know the Knights of Columbus named their store, and I know the city is going to be doing something special for him again next Saturday at 12 noon. Next to the rowing club and next to the Knights of Columbus store, I believe is at 6th Street. Yeah, 6th Street in the Bay. We're going to be doing something special for anybody who'd like to come out and join us. But one of the things we did in honor of Tom Park and all the service that he's done to the community, we've actually declared that May 7th will forever be known as Tom Park Day in Brigantine. And for those of you who don't know, May 7th is Tom Park's birthday. So we want to make sure that his community service is forever honored here in Brigantine. When we talk about indoor dining, I know Dennis had kind of brought this up. This has been a big question that a lot of people have been trying to talk with the governor about. I know he gave the green light, he stopped it, he said he'd go back, he's looking at the data. One of the things we kind of pitched to the governor from the city is that while outdoor dining right now is helpful in helping people make their ends meet. At some point in time, the weather is just not going to be conducive to having outdoor dining. The governor needs to make some considerations on how we move forward. My understanding, and nothing official, that the governor is looking at that now and recognizes, especially shore towns like Brigantine, you know, once the fall hits, we get a lot of nor'easters that roll through in the cold weather and biting winds, that they're going to make some type of consideration to move forward and to look for an announcement sometime after Labor Day. They didn't give any specific dates or information other than they understand the challenges that we face and that they are willing to work with us to try to move things forward. And Dennis also talked about gyms. This is something we've been advocating for Tony and for Wolf Fitness for months now, about getting gyms open, getting gyms to move forward. You know, and a big part of why we're able to have some of the things we have in the personal training and the outdoor stuff that gyms are able to do has come from the advocating that we have done as a city, you know, as council members on behalf of Wolf Fitness, trying to help them out, and also from our Chamber of Commerce president, Angela Reynolds. I know the Chamber has been a great resource in trying to work with the city to make sure that we're able to move forward and to help our businesses and keep things moving forward. So it really is a good community effort to do everything we can. One of the very challenging things is that the governor offered some relief money, and I know the president offered, I should say Congress offered some relief money for businesses. One of the things that we found with some of our businesses, if they hadn't been open for 2 years and established, they didn't qualify for some of the federal aid, and some of the state aid was so restrictive that no businesses in Brigantine even qualified. You know, that was something we reached out to the governor's office on to kind of respectfully explain to the governor our dissatisfaction in the choice of not including cities like ours. The governor has worked on that in a third wave. I know that I'm going to thank Dennis for trying to help get that move forward, to try to help Tony and try to help some of our other businesses qualify for some of that money. So, you know, I'm going to thank all of council and all of our community partners like Angela and the Chamber of Commerce for really advocating on behalf of the business community. For us, you know, one of the things we're working on kind of a positive note, one of the things that has really come up in the city of Brigantine is turtles. How do we help the turtles that have been getting, I see some people laughing, but it's been a big thing. Like, you know, Brigantine is actually a big turtle nesting area, and there's a number of turtles that have been getting run over on the roads. I've actually had an opportunity to meet with some people who run a rehab and protection organization called the Turtle Room, which is out in Galloway. They're fully licensed. They work with the New Jersey Fish and Wildlife. They actually come to Brigantine. They're licensed. They harvest the eggs when they can to try to save the turtles. And I had an opportunity to go out with like my families and some of the local children in the community to do a turtle release. So any turtles that they harvested here are released back in the same area. One of the ideas that they have is to actually make a turtle nesting area. And they kind of explain why the turtles are crossing the roads and what the needs are and how we could try to address that. So they're going to put together some plans. My understanding is that they are fully funded. There will be no requirement of the city to fund it, to maintain it, to look into it, that they want to take care of all that. So it's something kind of we're looking at long term, and if it's something that really works well for our community, it's something, you know, we'd like to move forward on. So as we get more information on this, I'd like to share it with council and share it with the community and make sure that you know, it's a good fit for our island. But you know, anything we can do to give back to nature and protect our environment, I think, is something that's been really important to everyone in our community. So I just kind of wanted to share that. At this time, we're going to open it up to public comments. So again, our public comments, anything you'd like to speak about or talk about, just signal to our city manager, Jim Bennett. He will recognize you and we will move forward with that.
We have limited participants this time, Deputy Mayor, and I don't see anybody trying to get our attention.
All right, perfect. At this time, we're going to close the public portion. Is there any final council comments? All right, seeing none.
Well, I just got one quick, I got a late commitment there as far as the march. Did get a commitment from Officer Josh Fidel, who was seriously injured 3 years ago in Atlantic City when he was shot in the head. He's committed to speak at the march on September 12th. He'll be one of the speakers. So that's good. And then one other thing, as far as the Turtles events, maybe if we talk to Roxanne, we can see if we get some funding for the Turtles so that they maybe can communicate better. We can get shell phones. No?
I'll put you in charge of that, Mike.
Should have called for that vote, Vince.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, no, it goes back to the Verizon guy to figure out a way to get telecommunications involved. Thanks, Mike. I agree with Councilman DeLucre. There's no further comments here. I'd like to have a motion to adjourn.
Mike's got it's a slow connection, Mike, with those turtles, so you got to watch it. Okay.
Yep. Yeah. I love you guys. Can we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second and third.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, so I'd like to thank everybody for joining us on our August 19th council meeting. We really appreciate your support and dedication to the community and look forward to seeing you guys in 2 weeks.
Hey, Vince, can I say one last thing? I want those turtles to watch out for any solution on the road masquerading as pump water.
Thanks, Dennis. Thank you, everybody. Bye.
Oh.
Bye. Ending the recording.